Greetings, loved ones. Have you ever wondered how or why abusers isolate their victims? We're going to talk about that today, but before we start, we need you to help get these messages out. So please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit the like button, and please share these messages with others because you never know. Just by doing so, you could save a life. In a report that I have here on isolation and domestic abuse, Kelly Jo Hawley talks about how the abusers isolate their victims on her blog on healthyplace.com. She says, where are we? She says, in the beginning of my abusive marriage, I became isolated quickly, partly because it was what I thought I wanted. No, I did not tell myself, Kelly Jo, it would be great and completely logical to withdraw from the people I love and rely on my husband. The isolation and domestic violence crept up on me silently, she says. I did not make choices knowing my husband abused me. I thought I was making up my own mind, she says. I see my controller's manipulations only in hindsight. She explains that her abuser used and saw her weakness. In the 2 years before I met Will, she writes, my husband-to-be, my parents, I met Will. It says, in the 2 years before I met Will, my husband-to-be, my parents divorced, my grandfather passed away, and my plans to attend UC Berkeley fell through. I joined the Army, and a soldier raped me. Those traumatic experiences left me reeling emotionally and mentally. I was weakened, but I didn't understand it completely. She continues saying, I felt that I needed someone to protect me because I obviously couldn't protect myself. That was the lie I believed, she said. Will, with his assertive swagger and deep, loud voice, seemed to fit the bill. She says, I didn't expect to marry Will, but I think he saw a willing victim in me, so he wanted to get married soon after we met. She tells us that her abuser acted jealously. She says, at first I found Will's jealousy sweet. The idea that he loved me so much that it hurt him to see me speak to another man, that left me in awe. She says, I didn't think I was that special. I willingly agreed to stop touching people on their shoulder or hand when I spoke with them, something I did unconsciously to connect with people. Following through with the agreement made me feel disconnected from other people. A short time later, she says, his jealousy took on a more ominous tone. During a visit to the fair Oktoberfest, a young German man was walking around handing out roses to women. She says he handed me a rose, and Will stood up, grabbed him by the throat, pushed him onto a neighboring table, and everybody was shocked. She says Will sat down after the commotion and told me that I shouldn't accept roses from another man. The statement was a threat. She says, I suddenly realized that any kind of attention from the opposite sex was dangerous. Jealousy is not cute. Holly then declares that her abuser began dictating who she could trust. She says, Will constantly told me who I could trust and who I could not. If he saw me speaking with someone that he had warned me about, there was hell to pay. The first instance of physical violence in our marriage, she says, came after I had changed out of my uniform into sweatpants and a shirt in Will's best friend's bathroom. Will had said I could trust his best friend, so I thought nothing of it. She then says, after Will picked me up and took me home, he grabbed my throat and held my face close to the hot stove, yelling, see what I do for you? I make you dinner and you have sex with another man. That taught me, she says, that even if he said I could trust somebody, I had better not. Isolating me from other men was the first step, she says. Then using the idea that he knew who I could trust and who I could not, he isolated me from my co-workers who could have helped me, including other females in my company and battalion. After my sister came to visit us in Germany, she writes, Will told me I could not trust her either. He said that she hooked up with one of his friends, and because she was a slut, I had no business being near her. Kelly says, I never once paid attention to what he said about my sister, and that is probably why he attempted to verbally and emotionally abuse her too. He wouldn't do that in front of anyone else but my sister, she writes. He punished her, hoping that I would give up the relationship to save her from him. Kelly Jo's story, this story here, is not unique. You know, listening to this story, it was the same with me. It's like these abusers have a script. I really want to keep these videos short. So, tomorrow we are going to continue listening to her story and talking more about isolation. But I want you to know this. If you experience these behaviors by your partner, you're in danger. Yes, you are. Or you will soon become a victim of domestic violence. If you are a victim of domestic violence, I want you to know this. You're valued and you are loved. And you have the right to your own decisions. You have the right to trust whom you care to trust. You're intelligent. You're beautiful. God doesn't want you to suffer this violence. He wants you to live free from violence and peace and tranquility with relationships with everybody you want to have relationships with. Abuse. This is not love. If you are a victim of violence, and if you find yourself in a dangerous situation, please dial 911 right now. But also, I want you to reach out to somebody who could help you, because he doesn't want you to have anybody to help you, so he can keep you under his control and power. If you observe these behaviors in others, do something. Share this information to bring awareness to what is happening. You could be the person who saves a life. You're called. We're all called to be champions for justice. Those who suffer violence need to know that those who love them and those who don't even know them will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it is too late. Remember, the question isn't if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what are you going to do when you do encounter them? This series is dedicated in honor of Gabby Pettito, to get the information out, to save life. So help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button. You never know. Just by doing so, you could save a life. Tomorrow, we're going to continue talking more about isolation. And until then, God bless you.